Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is. Where the heart's uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. Where them tries could have killed you, but with faith you recover. Yup. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's so hard to.
Eh,
Oh no, what happened?
nothing. Calm down. Hi,
Oh,
everybody. I'm Kimberly, the Unseen Twist Truth. We are the People's Podcast. This isn't my laptop, so I'm trying to scroll up to add everybody at the same time. And Henry is so ready for everything to go. But anyways, I am Kimberly, and this is my co-host Henry.
hi.
And then we have my co-host SGF Graham.
What's up,
Peace to you.
SGF?
Peace to you.
And then we have my co-host Jewsby.
Peace and love,
Cheers.
family.
And then we have DDH with the icon.
With the floating bubble.
With the floating bubble. Hey, support. Doesn't matter how it looks.
That's right.
But anyway, so tonight's going to be a good one. Only a few know exactly why I come up with the name of tonight. So, Henry, the Nile isn't
It's
just a river in Egypt. What do you think of that? And why did I come up with that?
damn. I was gonna go with the littoral feature and say it was a river, but now I don't know what to do. No, the Nile's a powerful force, and we're gonna talk about it tonight. I want to hear. I'm gonna sit back and listen to what everybody else says because I don't know. I don't feel like I
Okay,
can.
SGF Graham.
Yeah. The Nile isn't just the river in Egypt. The Nile is like a state of mind. Because when you in a area of darkness, but you perceive to be in light, that's usually when the big denial come or whatever, because they haven't faced their darkness to even get around it, or they want to act like it don't even exist. It's just a mind state. Once they accept it, once they accept reality, they'll be able to move through it.
Jewsby.
The Nile, not just a river in Egypt. I feel like it's a state of mind. I feel like it's a chink that some people wearing their armor. I feel like it's more so the way you feel versus what reality is illustrating. So denial could could fool you. Denial you could it can motivate you. It's it's a powerful tool, and it's also something that could destroy certain people if they aren't strong enough to manipulate it.
Okay. All right, so Mark Twain came up with that quote, and the river in Egypt is called the Nile. And now, when Mark Twain came up with it, he come up with it because a lot of people deny deny things, and they don't want to face it. So when I come up with the name and I thought about it, the reasoning why I did it was because a lot of people see healing as an attack, saying, that something's wrong with them, meaning that they're broke. And they don't realize that when someone says you're still healing or you need to heal, it's because they care about you and they want you to do better because they see better within you. And a lot of people think, oh, they disassociate healing with a good and positive thing. They think healing means that something must have happened, that they're broke or they're trauma, or you know, they don't realize that they have a control. They're able to overcome something if they choose to. And I'm going to read what Google said the meaning of it and why. I sent it all to you guys so that I could that was in the description. So it says the Nile ain't just a river in Egypt. It's a play on words. The suggests the Nile is a common human experience, not limited to specific place. It often attributed to Mark Twain's the phrase is a pun on the words the Nile, the Nile. It implies that denial is a physical state, not just a geographical location. The phrase is also a logistic enigma because there's no way out of it without either denying the existence of denial or admitting its presence. Some say that denial is a delusion producing the way of thinking that robs us of all freedom and power. Others say that it's a safe and helpful to put some things on the shelf, but that makes denial a way of life can turn. I apologize. I heard a beep and I got all confused. A blind eye to an important matters. What does the Nile is a state of river in Egypt mean? It's a kind of, oh, I already did that. One on words. The idea is that the Nile is the Nile, where only a place. Okay, that's just the same thing. But anyway, so once we realize that there is a situation and there's a reason, like the first step to recovery in everything is learning that you have a problem. You can't heal if you don't recognize the issues. And a lot of
It's
people,
kind of.
huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
got
go
a
ahead.
lag there. I thought you were done. Keep going. You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's some truth in the statement that the Nile is a river in Egypt. It's kind of even denying that fact in a comical way to explain that kind of defense mechanism. The best way to put it, like, it's a defense mechanism, usually to prevent anxiety. It's such a, and the statement's kind of funny, but it's also true as hell. You know.
And not just anxiety, a lot of things. I talked to my daughter-in-law today, and I'm so proud of her. She's healing right now. I'm so very proud of her. And I was explaining to her that a lot of people decompartmentalize. And when they decompartmentalize, they disassociate themselves from what's going on because they rather forget than to have to deal with the emotion. And that's exactly what denial is. I don't have a problem. There's nothing wrong with me. I don't need help. I'm healed. And a lot of people are in denial in so many things. So many things.
What about that duality of it, though, that you had mentioned? It says that even some things can be shelved, but denial is
It,
it's got such a negative connotation, a negative way about it. What do y'all think about that? You know, is there
and
any
that
positive to it?
and that's the compartmentalizing. Sometimes it's the positive thing to separate yourself from what's really going on in the world, but other times you become numb to things. Do you think there's a positive SGF gram to denial?
Fake it till you make it.
Period.
Hey,
Period.
that was
I always said that. I've always said that. Jewsby, do you think there's a positive to denial?
Um, I do believe there's a positive side to denial, but you know, in my opinion, it's all circumstantial. Um, you know, the right circumstances or the right situations, denial can, you know, essentially help someone, you know, overcome a certain controversy or a certain turmoil in a sense. But you know, in theory, it's really all about how you manipulate it. It could definitely be a positive, but there's also negatives.
And I agree. I think that the positive may will help a person get through a situation to be able to handle a situation before it comes a what is it, catastrophic event. So if you can break it down, and deny the fact that it's huge, then that helps your mind to be able to see tasks in small stages. But at the end of the
Right.
day, I also see that denial can also be like an enabler. You, instead of fixing the situation, you deny that there's even an issue with the situation. What does Kendall say?
Kendall Cobb says, I was having technical issues. I will join shortly. It's
Oh,
minus 22. We kept
okay.
having hydro issues today. Minus 22 is really cold, yeah.
Yeah.
So what type of denials are we talking about? Like,
It's all forms, all forms. Whatever helps you get through a trauma. Usually trauma is what causes denial.
'cause
Positive aspects.
if you're having a physical trauma, then faking it till you're making it don't work. That's only like mental when you're trying to get through mental denial or something like that or whatever. Physical. I'm I guess it's what the person see on the other side once they go through it. That would be the positive, whatever that would be.
I have a theory that grieving and healing are the same thing. No one can tell you when you should do it and how long it should be done. People handle situations differently. Everybody does. And not one person can tell you that you're handling it wrong.
Denial would be invaluable to someone in physical pain, being able to deny the physical pain you're in. But that's like maybe even looking at that kind of situation, like I'm going to be okay, even though you are not okay. Maybe you got turned down on a job or something. They didn't want you, and you say it's okay. There'll always be another one. Denying kind of the gravity of the situation makes getting through the situation easier. It's almost a catch-22.
Well, also, when I come up with this subject, I was dealing with a personal situation within myself, and um, I found that instead of doing the forward approach, saying that there was a issue, it was better to say there was nothing wrong, and that I seen healing as just a crutch, the reason why I really don't want to be with someone or go to work and all this other stuff. Like I was just disguising really what was wrong. Now with denial, you didn't want to really do that shadow work, that big issue that you had to heal from. And a lot of things is childhood trauma. A lot of people don't want to deal with that childhood trauma. And honestly, when it comes to healing, you have to, a piece of you has to die off. Whatever that is, that habit forming or whatever that is that you were comfortably numb to and that you used as a coping mechanism has to disappear. Sometimes people have to move completely out of their whole town to get away from that addiction process.
Yeah. It's interesting to think that we're new people every 7 years. Our cells are completely reproduced. Yet the weird thing about that is that we continue with our consciousness.
Yeah.
Maybe our opinions and things change and whatnot, but we always have that
Ch-
mental constant, which is a biological constant. So
chills. This would be perfect for you. Now we're talking about denial. Like, you see denial as a positive thing, or do you see denial as a negative? Now,
or a little both.
Chills moved completely away from where he was from, and now he's in Vegas. So, I mean, there's a reason he moved, and there's a reason he's out there, and there's a reason he's doing what he's doing out that way. So, if you want to give us an input, let us know. Do you think denial is positive, negative, or or a little both? He feels that it's negative. And it is all about perception, and it's all about how you're using it and why you're using it, I believe. Now, if you're
Us
using it to
mostly use
enable,
negative.
oh, he said it is a both. Oh, Kendall said it's both. So it all depends on how you're using it and why you're using it. What'd you say, Henry?
It's easier to find examples of negative denial than it is to find examples of positive denial, or even a better way to just say it. Even denial, there's such a heavy weight with denial.
So today, my because I can only use myself and my situations and what I am growing through as examples for me. So my daughter-in-law wants to quit vaping, and she just started quitting drinking. She's been over a month, almost 2 months sober, and I'm very proud of her. So now she wants to quit vaping. There's one vape left in the house, and it's my son's. She decides to go smoke his vape because she said she was done, but she found his vape. So she decides to smoke his vape to help them both quit. That's what she's telling herself. That's what how she's rationalized the fact that she just lied to herself.
Well, she's still hitting it.
Facts. And she said she was quitting, and she went all day without it. And then when she was like, "Oh yeah, he still got one, so I'm gonna smoke his so we both can quit."
But did he want to quit?
It don't matter. That's just what she's thinking. So
right.
I told her, no matter how you mentalize that, it's still you're still lying to yourself. You said you were going to quit. Here's what Chill said.
Negative solely because when you in denial, you're hiding it. People tend to deny being used, being a user. When you deny a problem, you're making it seem like it doesn't exist. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people who do it departmentalize.
I guess it would be all like people go through heavy traumas, right? Like wartime traumas and stuff, and all kinds of shit like that really sticks in your head. And it's it says specifically like certain things like that. Denial is a huge form of getting over that because there isn't a way to healthily cope with it. But I would say there always is a way to healthily cope. It's just the gravity of those situations takes such tolls on us. Our brains scar just like our bodies. Like I said, you can't see the brain as easily. But
Kendall, how do you see a positive in denial?
yeah.
Hello. When it comes to seeing the positive, it's more so, and it's kind of hard to explain that one. It's almost like a counterbalance for when you're saying I'm in denial, but there's always that but, right?
Yeah.
It's like saying, oh yeah, I'm going to do this today, but you don't do it, but I'll do it later, but I won't do it. So why not do it now? So it's kind of like a counteractive for how you want to decide for how you see yourself in just convincing. It's more so the convince where you want to elaborate with it, if that makes any sense.
Kind of. So, what does Chill say, Henry?
Let's jump back on here. When your testimony can't help others, you won't go get rehab advice from somebody that don't smoke or drink or do drugs.
Facts. But at the end of the day, some people have fear. They're afraid of change. They're afraid of removing the agreements that are put upon them in the belief system that they were grown up to thinking that is correct. I went a whole year without looking at myself in the mirror so I could tell myself that I was beautiful without looking at my eyes, because my eyes lied to me. My eyes lied to me because my eyes were held on the fact of the agreements that others put upon me. They weren't mine. I wasn't seeing me. I was seeing what I thought my mind was telling me that I was. So I stopped looking in the mirror for a long time, like a whole year, until I started loving myself so much. I did the fake it till you make it. I started loving myself and telling myself that I was beautiful. I had sticky notes all over the mirror saying that I'm pretty, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, everything positive, giving myself positive affirmations constantly. I started listening to what people were saying about me instead of me judging me and seeing myself. And then eventually I started just loving me. So then when when I started looking in the mirror again, I was like, wow, I am pretty. Wow, I am smart. Wow, I am kind. And I started telling myself that in my eye, because you cannot change your life. Although you could change your mind and how you see things and watch your life change. Make sense?
Absolutely.
SGF Graham, make sense?
It do make sense. It do make sense to me. I was
Jude,
waiting. I was waiting to hear how somebody else was gonna put something on so I can add to it.
yeah. Here's Angel. What did Angel say?
I had to look in the mirror and I was convinced I was a great guy. When my loves treated me like the outcast or the black sheep of the family, I looked at myself, built myself up that way too.
Facts. See, facts. And I couldn't look at the mirror until I was able to look with my eyes instead of me judging myself, because I was judging myself so much. The Four Agreements helped me so much, and I keep talking about this book, and I'm going to keep talking about this book until everybody's read this book, because people put agreements upon ours, and most of the time it's because they're mirroring us and they're feeling something within themselves that they don't like, so they're pushing that agenda onto us. What Kendall, just speak, babe. I love that you're helping the audience, though. I like that.
Oh, right. Well, I don't know. I'm just like tuning in today.
No, I love it.
Well,
I'm bad at comments, so Kendall, it's amazing that you do that.
Yeah, no, I love it.
I touch
I
the
do the best
comment
I
section
can.
well, it doesn't matter.
Peace and love. Thank you. And
Susan,
I get
thank you, Susan.
and Valor, do you feel denial is a positive or a negative thing? And why do you think people do it? And a lot of people do use it as a coping mechanism. Honestly, some people can't handle a whole bunch at one time. They feel overwhelmed. So if I deny myself of having a problem with this, maybe I could fix something else at the same while I'm, maybe I can work on one thing at a time, and then eventually I'll be able to fix the other thing if I ever get back to it. But a lot of people want to put something off today to do it tomorrow, and tomorrow isn't promised to no one at all.
I
That's just my
will
opinion.
say that the way that my mind deals with trauma, whenever the few things that I've went through that really caused me turmoil to where I just didn't know what was going on in life. One day I woke up and I didn't have no feelings towards it. And it was now just a story I was telling people, but I realized it couldn't move any of the chakras in my body. It was almost like I just told this story for so long that I know it now. How do I do it? I don't know. I guess that's a way that my brain, deals with keeping me safe. But it's like I reach a tipping point, and once I reach that tipping point, the very next day is gone. So it's like how to work through it. I guess I wouldn't be an assistance to that because my brain subconsciously helps me work through it.
But you did work through it, and that's what I did when I dealt with my trauma of that person trying to kill me. Now I talk about it as if it was a story told to me. Eventually, I'm not even going to speak about it until it's no longer relevant. It's irrelevant because we talk about mental health matters. And that's the only reason why I speak on it.
Yeah.
Now, that's what I did, had to do the same thing because I had a whole bunch of trauma throughout my whole childhood. That was just the straw that broke the camel's back that caused me anxiety, vertigo, manic depressive, all these other symptoms because of this event. It triggered so many things. Once I realized that I had to decompartmentalize myself and break it as if it didn't exist at all and separate myself from it, of having that motion and feelings of it. And I did it through meditation, through my ethers. My ethers healed me because I was able to get inside my head, to get out of my head, to shut my mind down from constantly feeling that, of having that PTSD from that person jump me from behind and trying to kill me. Make sense?
Definitely.
And that's, go ahead.
I say if it's protective, if it inspires growth, And if it
Yes.
lasts an appropriate amount of time, then it's
Yes.
hard to argue with something. You know, we
Yes.
can beat anything to death. And it's the duality of those things that help.
Yes. And what did Valora say?
Laura says, if it's drama, I disappear. I can't take too much since having an aneurysm. And that's why I have the mindset of uplifting and encouraging, because that is
Yes.
what I need.
Yes. And
Wonderful.
that's where denial is kind of a positive thing. If I say to you, well, you got this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong. And also, now that you quit drinking, Henry, stay away from the caffeine and quit smoking and do this and do that and eat and this and then go get your teeth taken care of. I'm going to say 20 things to you that I want you to fix all at the exact same time.
Those might be all well and right for me, but the thought of trying to tackle all that right now would be insane. So yes, I know those things are bad for me, but I'm denying that request to take care of all of those things because I can
Yes.
look away for certain things. Certain things maybe require your denial. You did, Laura. I hope you answered your question. That was wonderful.
Yes. Yes. And that's exactly how you compartmentalize things. You kind of break things down, disassociate certain things, and try to heal. And then once you come to the healing fact and you feel like you're at the point of healing enough, now it's time to move on and heal something different. Will we ever really be 100% healed? I'm going to say no. Henry?
No, probably not. Compared to
SGF
what, though?
Graham? Just in general. SGF Graham?
Yep.
Would you say?
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, do you think that you'll be 100% healed?
Yeah.
Okay. And Jewsby, do you think you'll be 100% healed?
I believe so. Yeah, I'm very thorough in that sense. So I would go the extra mile to make sure I was.
Kendo, do you think you'd be 100% healed?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, and the reason why I said no is because if you're basing it off of the ideal of somebody else's perception or what the standard of normal is, I get called delusional because I see everything with rainbows and butterflies, and I talk about my situation as if it didn't even happen. I got told that that wasn't proper shadow work and that I had to dig deeper and allow myself to grieve over the fact of what happened. When I did, but I separated it. So now it's not even it's not even like I don't have no feeling toward it, like it even happened to me. I got told that wasn't proper healing. So that's why I would say no, because one situation something will always happen and you will always be labeled as something. It depends on how you look at it. Because
So,
if
so
I
you
talk
saying,
about it, that means I'm still giving it the energy that it existed. You got to forgive and forget.
who said forget? How do you learn?
That's the healing. That's 100% healing.
Oh no. Nah, I can't go through it again. That don't even make no sense. If I forget, then I'm bound to go through it again
That
until I really learn from it.
that
So,
Agreed.
and that's what they say. They say you got to forgive and forget.
where it say
Be 100%
forget?
in the Bible, in the
No, it
book.
don't. No, it don't. It say
It's,
forgive. It do not say forget. I guarantee you.
that's what I read. So,
Mhm.
and also in psychology classes, they teach you that you have to forgive and forget to be able to be healed.
That sound like that sound like a mentality I don't want to talk about, that the higher ups will have people say or whatever, so they can keep taking them through BS.
I probably, but that's what I'm saying. It depends on whose perception are you looking at, who's telling the story, and that's a narrative
But
of
but are you saying that you're not healed based on how somebody else feel about you, or about how you feel about you? Because it's not about how
fact,
nobody else feel about you.
and that's where I was going afterwards because that's what I said. It depends on who's looking at the situation. Because if someone looks at it while you're still talking about it, so
I mean,
I'm
even the God was the
against
devil to
forgetting.
somebody. So
hmm
So I mean, long as I'm good within, then I'm
That's what I
healed. I
feel.
don't. Yeah, their perception is just that. That's they looking at where they at in life, and they looking at you, and anything you doing got to be witchcraft or whatever, because they feel like they're in a better situation than you, and they don't understand how you had peace of mind.
Hmm.
People with a lot of money often get jealous of people with a peace of mind, and
I already
they
know.
don't understand it.
Mm, 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 mm. That's
Yeah,
exactly
it's
it too. What's that
the
highlighted
forgiving and
comment?
forgetting.
What's that
I will
highlighted
hold on with the
so I can get to the next?
highlighted comment. In someone else's eyes, no, in your own self, you can tap into self worth. I mean, yeah. It's having people's judgment on you is letting judgments. You can't let that shit get to you. You know, there's a good movie called The Elephant Man. It's actually a true story about a horribly deformed person who gets taken in by a doctor, and the doctor realizes the guy's pretty much a genius, John Merrick. And they treat him real nice at the end of his life, but people treat him like an animal the whole time. And then you realize he's a great writer and he did all this shit. You know, the world's cold. You know, you can't be in denial. I think about everything, but you have to kind of deny the pain for the moment, maybe. You know, and that reverts back to pain. I don't like forgetting. It said on the internet here on Google that denial can be beneficial for substance abuse, and I honestly couldn't disagree more. If for the day I forget that I'm an alcoholic, I'm never going to be 100% healed from that. It's not something that goes away. You know, I'm not going to wake up and be able to drink in a year. It's not going to happen for me. But
What's the next comment?
that's fine. Forgive, but reality is not gone. You know, to forget. No, exactly. I
Yeah.
believe we have to hold on to our experiences and learn from them.
And sometimes though, like SGF Graham, they do try to paint that narrative that you're always damaged if you speak on things that are not of you. They want to put you in this suppressive mindset from the time you were born. From the time you were born, because you can't be controlled once you're free. And once you find peace within yourself, I get called delusional because I find peace in myself and I see everything in rainbows and butterflies. And like I said before, there's not a war going on in my world. And I don't care what anybody says because you can't tell me differently. I have a whole
Well,
different
yeah.
opinion. I feel that I am my own judge. I feel at the end of my time here, I'm going to be faced in front of everything I did and judged myself. And I feel that I have a choice of where I'm going to go. I just have a different opinion on so many things. But at the end of the day, I say this all the time. Who's to say I'm wrong?
I have a very different opinion on a lot of things. I think it's important to get along on some visceral level. So I love to listen.
Yeah,
I like hearing different perspectives,
me too.
even
If
if
it, go ahead.
even if it what
No.
hurts or I don't
Yeah.
agree with it. It's
Yeah.
important because it's there.
I like it when someone comes to me and tells me what they see of me, even if it's negative. I do. Because sometimes I'm too close to a situation and I don't see it the way they see it. And if you can tell me your opinion and how you feel something, then I'm able to look at it differently and through different eyes, a different perception. That's why I love this podcast so much because it gives me a different way of seeing things. It gives me another way of thinking things. Because even though Henry and I clash a lot, I love that because I love him so much because of that. Because I don't want someone that's going to be just like me. Because how am I going to learn from someone who's just like me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I love the fact that people see things differently because it helps me see things differently. And I love that I see things differently. What does that say, Hen?
We got Valora says, I love this. It's a good
Oh,
one.
yeah. So SGF Graham, do you think that I think this whole world's based on perception. What do you think?
Yeah. Um, oh man, that's another conversation.
I
And-
know. I
and
can't get into that one. I can't wait to get into that one.
that's a whole nother one. But
That's another episode.
to sum it all up, yes, It's perception made into reality. Um, and they somehow trigger everybody to see the same thing. Um, that could be changed if everybody wasn't in denial. But
Yeah, people see the same thing differently.
We're definitely going to use that for Tuesdays. Everybody get prepared. Tuesday subject is going to be
That's
about
dope.
perception
That's
because
dope.
I
Yeah.
have a whole opinion on that too. Kendall, do you think
Yes.
everything's based on perception?
Oh.
Ooh,
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate?
I'm not sure how I'm going to make that easy to fully understand for the concept of it. So I
Can you
wasn't
come on?
prepared.
Can you come on a Tuesday?
Definitely. Yes,
Okay.
I'll have some notes written down.
Okay. Jewsby, perception.
Uh, I feel like you know, most people are a slave to perception.
Mm,
Um, you know, I think people buy into what they feel is always being valid, or you
mm,
know, whatever they believe is paramount to what others believe.
mm,
And the world itself is, you know, it's one big hamster wheel. So
mm,
you know, it's pretty much, you know, whatever you encounter. It's, you know, a lot of these things are already preordained in people's minds simply because, you know, they want to govern their own decisions. They want to be their
mm,
own gods. And, you
mm,
know, it's, you know, I just think the perception of today's reality has been skewed to the point where, you know, it's hard to tell where that, you know, where that fake and that real begins. You know, it's so intertwined now that, you know, people get everything mixed up. They're like, the line has been completely blurred.
mm. All right, Henry, this is a long one.
you want me to read this, eh? Okay, here we go. Kendall Cobb, because it's easier to message it. I understand this. And this is appreciated. Forgiveness is the opposite of forgive and forget in Matthew 6:14-15. If you forgive others their sins, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. Forgiveness is a lifelong process. Forgiveness for us is a lifelong process. Forget is a way of letting go of the past for regrowth, changing yourself for a better, different point of view.
There you go.
Now,
So now, do you believe, Henry, that everybody has a different reality? Because that'll be Thursdays.
yeah. Yes, and no.
Okay.
We perceive things with our human eyes and senses in the same fashion, but they're all a little different and skewed because our brains are almost incalculably different. Are.
yeah, that would
SGF
just,
Graham, do you feel
that,
like everybody has a different reality?
I mean, that could just be called perception part two.
Yes.
Like, it's just perception is a huge talk. The biggest one is manifestation, rather it's accidental manifestation when we watch the news and believe in the fear factor, or you know, your parents always play something happy, happy, joy, joy, and you become one of them kids or whatever. You know, you got the accidental manifestation and you got the on purpose or whatever, but it's all still a perception. Like that perception umbrella is like huge. That's like days talk.
No, I get it. I get it.
Like,
Unrelated, but did you grow up with some happy, happy, joy, joy SGF man?
not at
That
all.
fucking song. No.
No.
That song is ridiculous.
Jewsby,
That's learning and perception, that show.
do you believe Jewsby, do you believe that everybody has a different reality?
Um, I feel like, you know, based upon whatever lens you're looking at the world through, yes. You know, I can guarantee we all don't get up and see the world the same, and we definitely don't go to sleep looking at the world the same. So everybody's view on life is different. Everybody's battle in life is different. So in turn, that's gonna tip the scales. So, you know, like SGF said, it's basically perception part two. You get what I'm saying?
It really is. It
Yeah.
really is. And the whole purpose of this was I was trying to explain to someone that they still needed to heal. And they thought that I was using it as a crutch. And the thing is that of reasoning why I didn't want to be with the person or the reason why I wasn't able to go to that job. And I was like, no, that's not it. I'm telling you because I care. That I'm telling you, you need to heal. And it's not just from what you think it's from, it's a whole bunch of stuff. Because what you're doing now is forms of gaslighting, forms of all these scientifical label names. Because I took human psychology, not because I'm a doctor and anything, and not because I know anything, but it's happening to me. And in my reality, that's what I'm perceiving it as. And that's how I'm feeling. So, me talking to you and telling you that you need to heal, you don't have to feel it as an attack because I care. I'm not able to come and work with you because I care about you and me, and it's not good for my mental health if I surround myself around someone who's delusionalized from the fact of that there's a problem. You can't deny that there's a problem if we keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over in life and not getting a different outcome. Insanity. There's a situation that has to be dealt because not everybody should feel the same way, and not everybody should be terrible to you, and how you see the world should not always be negative. And if you come at the world with a negative mindset and saying that, I foresee the future and I always foresee negative stuff happening to me before it happens. Are you really foreseeing the future, or are you putting that into existence by willing it?
Manifestation.
Facts. Facts.
That
Facts.
happens a lot.
So really, what are you doing? Are you, I mean, you may be honestly have gifted to be able to do that, but try doing it in a positive manner. Try. I drove 2 years, and people tell me it's so many different reasons why. I drove 2 years with an expired plate and never got pulled over until one person jumped in my car and said to me, "You're about to get pulled over." And 2 days later, I got pulled over.
Wow. Oh my gosh. You
I
know,
went.
it's
No, speak.
all right. Well, I was gonna say, you look at 9 out of 10 interventions, the person being intervened on feels like they're being attacked, but not
Yes,
one person there wants ill will for them, right? But the
right.
total grip of denial is not like, this is our son Henry. He's a crack cocaine enthusiast, and he freebases in his free time all the time. We love it. No, they want what's fucking best for you, but you don't see that through the blinders of addiction and systematic, whatever
And
you're doing pathologically.
through a trauma response of thinking that negative stuff always happens to you. Go ahead, SJF Graham.
Please.
That I was a 18-wheeler truck driver all over the United States. You can go to my Instagram and see a little bit. That's when I started getting real good jobs, when I started going to the Florida Keys and stuff. And I did all of this with absolutely no driver's license.
Period.
No shit.
Yep. Everybody
Time.
asked me how. I said, shoot, I put myself in a position. As soon as the position came open, I took advantage.
Period. So when they say that you need a high school diploma to get this job, my daughter, and I use her for example on so many things. My daughter-in-law went to and got her bachelor's. She's gonna go back, or she's in the process to go back. She could be a lawyer, whatever she wants. Whatever she wants. She's a social worker. Deals with mental health. And when she went back, and she has to pay for all this schooling and all this other stuff, and she's in debt. She was up in debt. Well, she's got a good credit score now and she's not in debt no more, but she was in debt up to her eyebrows in school fees and stuff like that. And my son, who dropped out of school, made way more money than she ever could.
Well,
ever could. So they tell you can't get this job unless you have a high school diploma. That's a form of trying to keep you conditioned. That's for that's for next week's show. But at the end of the day, it's all about how we perceive things and denial. Denial is crazy. A lot of people really oh, I don't know what to say. It's crazy how so many people are aware of what's going on in this world and still very delusionalized to what's going on in this world in the same aspect. It's weird to me. It's weird to me. It's weird to me. I don't have nothing else to say about it. It's strange. We're gonna next week, or it's gonna be a great show.
Denial is a huge global problem, and I could sit here and start screaming about it and shit, but it's just evident. It's really evident. There is a lot of everything's so whacked out, and people just kind of roll with it, and it's a forced denial because it's really hard to afford anything right now. So it's even hard to afford to help one another. It seems like the borrow a cup of sugar days are over, and everybody just seems to be okay with it.
Perfect. That's a great response, Kendall. That's a great response. Great response.
I was called delusional today, and I just laughed.
That's a great response.
Yeah.
Usually,
Yeah, because if you're delusional, you go crazy.
But that's how hurt people. So usually, a person that says that is mirroring that within you. They're reflecting onto you. If someone never felt that way about you or had that, like I cannot relate to jealousy, envy, greed. So you'll never hear me speak on those things because they're not in my reality. It's not nothing that's in my reality. So I won't speak on those things. I don't anything that's gossip related, anything that's huge in the tabloids and with famous people. I don't know none of that shit. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't know who a lot of artists are. I don't know who's famous, who's not. Nobody's famous to me. I think that's just a path they chose. Even the president doesn't hold weight over me. It's just a choice he chose. Everybody has a purpose and a choice, and then some people choose to be something different than I do. Doesn't mean they're better than me, above me, or beneath me. I don't think I'm better than anybody, above nobody, or beneath nobody. We all have this agenda in life to live. We have to be able to fix ourselves before we jump into a next relationship, before we get into this other job, before we raise these children, because then we're going to raise them to have our own same beliefs and whatnot. I was not raised in a situation where everything was rainbows and butterflies. Yet in my world, no matter what happens to me, I see rainbows and butterflies. Because I'd rather be positive than negative. Because I gave my demons a rest and I no longer need them. Henry, if you had a choice, and which you do have a choice, what feels better to you?
What feels better?
Yeah, is it feel better to be in denial or to be open and free with what's going on and what you deal with in life, and to uh, love everything even if it isn't beautiful?
Nothing feels better than breaking free from denial. I lived in denial for about 20 years, and denial is the lowest form, and you end up at rock bottom and in a lot of pain, and that's me cutting through any and all bullshit. If you want to live, you get rid of denial.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree completely. And I just think that I think this whole world's pretty fucked, and I think a lot of people in it are. And I don't think they're bad people, though. I don't think they're bad people. I think we were conditioned to be this way so that we could stay suppressed. I don't think that I'm a god of anything. Yet I am of self when it comes to what I allow and what I control and within my own reality, in my thought process, in my belief system, in my mind, in who I am. A lot of people push this agenda in reality, that their ideal of reality, onto others just so they can feel comfortable within themselves to say, well, that's what's wrong with that person. Why does something always have to be a situation? Why does something always have to be wrong? Henry, when I worked in the medical field for so long, I seen so much neglect and abuse. And I took care of a lot of different age groups and people because I worked in a lot of different facilities and different homes and had my own business taking care of people. There is nothing for senior citizens and there's no voice. Never was, never will be. And the thing is, I've seen them rip somebody up from a foreign country, don't know, they took them out of Quebec, doesn't know a spick of English, never spoke English a day in their life, brought them to a facility in the United States without an interpreter and without any help. And they were so abused. And it's not the facility's fault because everybody's looked at as a dollar amount because we are in a corporation.
How good do you want this podcast to turn out? How in depth do you want? Because do you realize how angry I am right now and how much I actually want to say when it
I
comes to
already
the
know.
elderly and the way we treat people in this country? I'll tell you what. There's entire vast patches of land in this country with military armor rotting away in the fucking desert, and they can't give my dad a goddamn right to dialysis. He gets abandoned now outside of dialysis clinics with no way back because council and aging shuts down. Apparently, you don't have to be old after 6 o'clock at night. You know what? My dad paid taxes. He owned his own business. He's an artist. He did live talks. He donated instruments to churches in the Detroit area and everything in the Port Huron area and shit. And he can't get anyone to spit on him. And the minute I get him some fucking help for it, the minute I get him some help through the only way I can, through the public guardian, you know what they're coming. You know what's coming. You know what they're going to do. They're going to take all of his money.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to put it into control. All because I got sick of him getting abandoned outside dialysis clinics. I drive myself, but I've been fighting for my license for 7 goddamn years, and I am a drug and alcohol freelance therapist. My phone is full of people. Those 7 years have been spent doing service work for A programs and helping people as much as I can every day at my own expense. And I love it because I'm very rich because of it. I don't have a damn 2 nickels to rub together to help my dad. But I put everything into it because we have failed everyone.
And it
We
didn't
failed the elderly.
It didn't just start with the elderly. It's the school
No.
system. It's the medical system. It's the justice system. There's a lot of stuff that we have to completely heal from. Some people get in trouble just walking outside because of they're labeled and what they look like in an area that they're not wanted. My son got arrested for third degree or retail fraud in a third degree because he was reading a newspaper and took a newspaper that was outside a store before the store opened. And they judged him because of what he looked like. And they said, because he's Mexican, they said, what do you expect from your kind? And they ran his name and seen that he did get in trouble as a juvenile for retail fraud. But it wasn't because he had $63 in his pocket. He was on his way to work. And it was the paper from the day before. They set him up. It was the paper from the day before. The guy put the old papers on top of the new papers because their papers kept getting short. But it wasn't short because someone's taking them outside. It was short from inside the store. The employees at the store were taking them and they're not paying for it without letting the newspaper people No. So I know for a fact that when the newspaper people come and pick up the old papers, they credit the store for what's not sold. And once it goes outside, it's no longer the store's property. It now is the property of the newspaper company again. The next day, it's
Yeah.
no longer the store's property. It's the newspapers because they get credited for it. It's not theirs no more. They didn't sell them. So that's why they take the old ones and put the new ones because they get credited. So with that being said, that's exactly, they looked at him and judged him. And because someone kept stealing it, they were trying to set and find out who did it. The newspaper guy took a picture of my son reading the paper the day before. He does this every week, but he pays for it at the end because the owner of the store told him he could. Because by the time he gets up in the morning, the store's not open yet. By the time he gets out, the store's about to close. But during the he has Fridays off, so on Fridays he gets out early on Fridays. So Friday's able to go into the store and pay for it, and it's just a newspaper. He's been doing this for a while with the store owner, but they didn't ask the store owner anything about my son. And they charged him with that, and they tried taking it to court and everything, and the judge laughed about it. The arresting officers were complete racism and rude to him, but it was up north in a little county, and they all knew him, and he's been in trouble a lot, and they know that. So he was already judged because of who he was and what he did as a child. But as an adult, he didn't do that anymore. And the
Shit.
people that booked him, they laughed. They thought that was hilarious. They never, ever, ever, ever seen anybody arrested for a 65-cent newspaper.
For reading.
He had it in his possession. He was getting ready to go to work. What's this say? I can't tell you what this is about. I don't even know if it's real.
Oh boy. Volera, all right, we go. Let's talk about the elderly. One of my daughters witnessed and reported abuse at a facility she worked at. Next thing you know, my daughter and the man that did the abusing got laid off for months. The police came to my house and spoke with my daughter about it. Do you know the job that let the guy come back to work? It gutted my daughter, and the fact that she got laid off for reporting him. My daughter found another job. It's sad in nursing homes and stuff.
All right, let's talk about that for a second real quick. And I didn't want to do this, but since you brought it up, Laura, we'll do this.
Thank you, Laura.
The same place that I went to and I got my license from, I witnessed the nurses over medicating the person. And I told the nurse, I told my charge nurse, he already got that medication from the people before that. She just didn't write it in the books. Instead of remembering it, writing it down and calling and checking and everything like she should have done, because I was in the room when the nurse gave it to him. And it was only an hour ago. So instead of me, I did my part. Instead of the nurse doing her part, she forgot, did a bunch of other things. She was filling in because she wasn't even supposed to be working, but as a supervisor, you have to work when no nurse don't show up. That's just how it goes. So she started working, and she was frustrated and overwhelmed, and she was mad. Instead of doing that, she just gave him the medicine and forgot that I told him he already got it. So it was a union facility. The union rep come and talk to me because it got so bad that I was going to talk to a lawyer and everything about it, because I was like, nah, they over medicated him, and I know, I was there. I seen it all. Instead of being part of a crime, I'm going to let them know that this has been going on, because this ain't the first person they done it to. And instead of them doing something about it, the union rep took me aside and said, your best bet is to resign, or they will put you, they charged me with coercion. They charged me with neglect. They said that someone witnessed me saying I was going to wrap a collar around someone's neck, and they want to get me for abuse. They were going to get me red flagged in the medical field if I continued, and I would never be able to work again. And I just got my license 5 years before. So I was like, yeah, I just went to another facility, because they said, that you can go back to work there. They can't legally fire you, but they can make your life hell while you're there. And they can find something to for real get you in trouble with. And they can actually make it so you can never work again. Because if they put you as a red flag in the system, you'll never be able to work again anywhere. in the medical field. So, what does Laura say?
It needs to be talked about. Yeah, it needs to be talked about and then dealt with. You're damn right. It's sad.
And the thing is will it ever be addressed? No, because you want to know why. This is a corporation. This is not a country. And for it being a corporation, people pay those advisors that do the medications and put everybody on pills and stuff and saying that there's something wrong with you, so let me give you a pill, is who runs this country. There's a bidding
Oh
war.
man.
There's a bidding war
Yeah.
out there, and we don't have enough money. The people don't have enough money to talk about how mismanaged everything is because it's ran as a corporation.
Well, it's been a good run. I've really enjoyed this podcast.
SGF Graham,
Really.
do you see the misjustice in a lot of things? SGF Graham.
I hope he comes back.
Are we talking about misjustice like in the
In many
system and all that?
yes, in many things. When it comes to how they
There
treat
isn't really a way I can answer that without
okay.
putting myself
Okay.
on
That's
this
fine.
podcast on the radar.
Okay. No, it's fine. We're already on the radar, but that's okay.
But nah, like, you don't want that radar. Like, there's nothing to brag about, but yeah,
No,
I'll
I
tell
already
you about
know.
it.
No, that's okay. We are on a different whole radar. But it's okay. It's all right. I get you.
So I'm gonna skip on that one.
Okay. All right. Jewsby.
Yes.
Do you think this is a thing that can be fixed?
Not by us.
Period.
Can't be fixed by us, so we just gotta wait. But it's gonna get fixed. Don't worry about it.
Yes, for sure. For sure. For sure. And I know that for a fact. Yeah.
You can't fix it unless you talk about it, right? And you
But
bring these smoldering embers to the top of the fucking ash pile, and people start seeing them.
a lot of
Maybe.
things are in denial. A lot of things are in denial. And that's not how it will get fixed. Not a bunch of people come to it and talk about it. It's been like this for centuries. This ain't the
Right.
first time. It didn't just start now. It didn't just start now.
I mean, a lot of things are bad, but I got to pay off this SUV, right?
I feel you, but it isn't going to be fixed anytime soon, and it's not going to be by us. Not at all.
Okay. People ask me, where do you see yourself in so and so many years? And my answer always changes from something like fighting in the streets or something. And it's more and more ridiculous every time. I can't even talk about it on here, but yeah. Yeah, maybe living in the woods, because you can like denial, maybe you need denial to look away from the injustices of the world because they're so small, like an ant trying to take down, a tiger or something. It's not going to happen. You feel outnumbered, outgunned. Is that denial?
I'm telling you, it's the balance. It's the balance that's going on right here. No matter how you look at it, everything's happening the way it's supposed to happen. Everything's happening the way it's supposed to happen. Even the really shitty stuff that don't make no sense to us.
Got to blind yourself to the injustice.
Sometimes you have to be in denial to be able to fake it till you make it, because I don't believe we have another 100 years left.
Well, we're letting the elderly go, this whole story go under the radar, and then we're talking about the Hawk 2 girls still, so it's not good.
I don't think we're going to have 100 years left, though.
Who is
This world that
itself?
I'm no, not the world itself. The world itself will be here forever. and it's just going to get
For a
worse.
while.
I'm talking about me. I'm not going to be here for 100 years. I'm not going to be
Oh,
here.
okay.
I'm not going to be here because of the shift. I'm not going to be here because of the new earth, the new world. I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to. I'm going to be where there's a utopia.
Okay.
That's for next week's show.
I wonder if there'll be a group of people sitting around to see the sun become a red giant. You know, probably not. Maybe.
Me speaking to the universe, and I'm telling you right now, I'm more connected to you, SGF Graham, than you know at this present second, and we think similar. We think similar. Jewsby's part of my tribe, so I know what's to come, and I'm not gonna be here. I'm not. I don't. I'm telling you, it's not even 20 years. This is the best time to be alive right now. This is the best time to be alive right now.
This is the only time, isn't it?
No. No. There's a past, present, and a future, all that going on right now. No.
Kimberly, are you here for a good time or a long time?
I'm not here for a long time at all. I'm here for a good time. What's that say?
I'm with you on the 100 years. Major situations are taking place, especially in 2025. It's going to get uncomfortable drastically. I'm inclined to kind of agree with you there.
And I told you, Kendall, it will not happen to me in my reality, and that's what we will talk about next week. It will not
uncomfortable to perception is key. You know, and especially when it comes to uncomfortability, because uncomfortable can feel real good.
Yep, and that's next week. So we're gonna talk about. We're just gonna skip this whole subject and talk about denial. So we're all in denial right now, in many ways, in many forms, in many different kinds of things. A lot of people are in denial right now. SGF Graham, do you agree?
A lot of people, yeah, me, no.
No, me neither. But a lot of people are. Jewsby, do you believe a lot of people are in denial right now?
Most definitely. I believe the majority of people live in denial more than they live in the real world.
In the present. Facts. 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 Henry and I talk about this all the time. All the time. And some things aren't our job. Some things are not our job. Henry wants to make a difference and really stop a lot of things from happening. A lot of things are going to stop from happening. We have to free ourselves from that being our job. And that's just my opinion. That's just my perception. That is just my belief. So, anybody want to say anything?
Anybody? You know, stop things from happening.
Say that again.
I said, does anybody want to say anything?
Based on what you said or what?
Just in general, because we're going to talk about it next week.
No, I couldn't think of nothing necessarily to talk about next week, but it was a part where you was talking about, it was earlier in the podcast today. You said nobody can't tell nobody how to grieve, and I didn't know how to really feel about that because the grieving can get so bad that it becomes a hurt people thing. So that's right on the fine line. That might be another day of discussion because that would drag this on too long. But you know, gotta ride that fine line because you don't want to also become a victim of what you're going through or become the hurter.
I had to tell somebody that I need a mental break, and I might have to disassociate myself from them because I am not the problem. And once you realize that, then we can talk again. Until then, hurt people hurt people. And I know a lot of stories about a lot of different people, but a lot of people grieve in different ways. And a lot of people will never allow themselves to heal from certain things. And they will hold really, really tight. I know somebody that has been abused as a child, and they hold so tight to the person that did that to them that they will not forgive that person, and they won't, not yet, and they're not ready to, and they know one day they may, but at this present moment, no, no, they really wish they could just remove that person from breathing in the air. And that's not a good way to think of things. And I do get it though. I do see where they're coming from and why they feel that way, but it's not healthy. That weight is so heavy that the grieving, some people think of the passing of someone that they love so much that they grieve so hard that every holiday, every get together, everything is based upon that person no longer being here. That they don't allow themselves to be happy in life. They don't allow themselves to heal. They don't allow themselves to no longer mourn that person because they feel if that person's not here living, then neither should they be. I know a lot of people like that. I know a lot of people like that. And that's what SGF Graham was saying about grieving. Sometimes it becomes to the point of hurt people do hurt people. And that's because you're not willing to heal. You're in denial that you need to heal. Is that kind of what you were saying, SGF Graham?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Grief is horrible. I handle grief a lot differently. At one point, grief made me, real talk, slam about a half. I drank way too much. I climbed my van and I gunned it down the road, and I took my seatbelt off and I slammed into a guardrail, right? And my whole body went flung against the windshield and bowed it out in this big kind of like pustule of broken glass. And then I kind of got up off the floor of the van because it threw me back into it. And I opened the door and spilled out into the ditch, and I grabbed my liquor and I just sat there and waited for the cops to come slam on the rest of my fifth. And now, my mom died on Thanksgiving. I did that on pretty much around Thanksgiving. And the last Thanksgiving, whether you celebrate it or not, I had a great time with friends and family, and I'd thought about my mom, but it wasn't an over-encompassing thought. But it's just the two extremes of that. It feels good to let go of grief, and as good as it feels as bad to hold on to it if you let it.
And for me, my biological mother wasn't a great no, I'm gonna say this correctly. I'm gonna say this how I feel. My biological mother was a beautiful soul, and I learned so much from her, and I am grateful that I got her heart because she had the biggest heart ever. She died in my eyes to me before she even passed away. And I forgave her for everything that she ever didn't know that she was doing to me on a purpose because I had to forgive myself. And I grieved her the last time I spoke to her. And I told her that as of today, she is basically dead to me. And I meant that. And I grieved her then. So when she passed, I did not cry. So when I lose And I don't see it as losing either. So I'm just going to speak normal. When people transition to a different frequency in this world, in this realm, I don't see it as dying or passing on or whatever you can say without us getting in trouble. I don't see it as a transition. I don't. And that's just it. We'll talk about it next week, but I just don't. Or we'll talk about it another time. But at the end of the day, when my dog when my dog passed, I cried like a huge baby, and because my dog was my emotional support animal, and I had a relationship with that dog, and I loved that dog, and that dog gave me comfort and helped me when I had nothing, and I felt like I didn't no one could understand me, and I had no one to talk to. I spoke to the dog. So I mourned the dog. I never mourned her passing, and I don't see people passing it as a sad thing. Their purpose is served. They did what they had to do here. Now, either they're going to repeat that until they learn that lesson, or they freed themselves and found themselves in themselves to be able to remove themselves from the hamster wheel. It's a choice.
That's dogs are really hard. Pets are really hard. You get a dog or a cat or something like that, and you really love it, and you don't even think about the fact that let's say it's not going to live nearly as long as you. You understand the life expectancy on that a lot of the time, but they live on so much longer in spirit than they even understand after they're gone. They shape you. You know, that's a hard pill to swallow, but that helped me get through a lot of pet deaths.
We chose to be here in life, in this realm, in this school of learning. We chose to be here. That's just it. So this is what comes with it. How we choose to handle it and deal with it, and that is something totally different. Now that's just my opinion. That's just my beliefs, my agreements. That's my perception. So I'm gonna ask
And we don't.
everybody. I'm gonna ask everybody something. I'm gonna ask everybody what they got coming up, and I want everybody to say who they are, what they do, and what they got coming up. Henry, who are you, and what do you do, and what do you got coming up?
Oh, I'm Henry Schul. I'm a musician, and a lot of that is based off peer support and addiction and trauma, overcoming trauma. Uh, I got an EP coming out. It's taken a while because of everything I'm going through with Dad that I mentioned earlier, but yeah, I got that coming out. I got a movie coming out. I'm in. I gotta hit up that guy. I might have a few more interviews coming up. And then I'm going to be doing everything I can with Unseen Twisted Truths and Twisted Radio, and you're going to be able to find me right here. And if you can't find me, get a hold of Miss Kimberly. Because we're far, but we're only a heartbeat away, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
SGF Graham, who are you, and what do you got coming up, and where people find you, and what's up with you? SGF Graham, who are you? I do this shit to Drewsby too. Don't worry.
yeah. Well,
SGF Graham, I'm gonna come back to you. Kendo, who are you, and where can they find you, and
My
what do you got
bad.
going on? Oh, there he is. Okay. SGF Graham, who are you, and where do you got going on? And I do this to Drewsby, I promise. You might as well get used to it. This is what I do.
Oh, you good. SGF Graham, rapper out of South Carolina. Got an LP coming out. Prototype of a Gutter Child should be out at the top of January. End of December, I'll be able to let you know more and give you direct link. Working on a movie script. I'll tell you more about it once we lay down the pilot. And that's about it right now. Oh, taking features for my next album coming out.
All right, Kendo, who are you? What do you do? And how can people find you?
Well, hello. I'm in Canada, Ontario, from North Bay, way up in the north. It's cold. It's like -22. Okay. Ugh. I am a social media artist. I do multitasking such as photography, music. I'm writing new books. I'm getting featured in a few magazines and going from there. And yeah, it's an ongoing process for what I'm doing. And I got my Kindle's creations on Facebook as well. You're welcome to add me anytime. Any questions or what is it? What's that term? Requests?
Yeah.
I'm happy to do so.
Jews be my guy.
Yeah.
Who are you? Where are you? And what are you doing? And what you got coming up?
Uh, just a musician.
Nah.
I'm
Just don't do that to yourself.
yeah, man. I'm just a musician, man. I love making music. I love expressing my creativity however available. But as far as what I got coming up, I made an executive decision to push the EP to the top of 25. I want to release it around my birthday, so I'm gonna take a couple more weeks to, get everything together before I release that to the world. Um, I was debating whether or not I wanted to drop a single from it, but it's still up in the air. So, other than that, I do have the children's book that I'm still getting, in the early stages of the publishing phase. So, once I get all that together, I'll start rolling that out to the public as well. So some more shows in the future. I don't have any dates yet, but a lot of tentative dates. So
All right, all right. And Jewsby is not just a
I don't
musician.
think there's been people
Very,
that tried out.
very,
I know
very
3 people that tried out on there. And one of them made
DDH.
it.
DDH,
They'll
you
have the
know,
auditions in Cleveland.
I'm gonna mute him until
What?
he. I'm muting him for a second.
What happened?
He unmuted himself. He's about to say who he is, but someone started talking to him.
Then I had to go to another. It's like
No, he unmuted himself for a reason. But anyways, that's DDH. You can find him on all platforms. He was Dynasty, but he changed it to DDH. He's got a thing called More Than Music coming out. And that's gonna be a big change for him. I am Kimberly Kimberly L. Vertigan. I am Unseen Twisted Truth, the People's Podcast. I am Twisted Radio. We are Unseen Twisted Truth. I'm not. We are, and we are Twisted Radio. We're going to be starting a publishing company, a music publishing company. We're going to be starting a label, and I have a nonprofit. Um, and then I also have a little assistant safe healing. I'm a Reiki spiritual healer, an herbalist, and
Massage.
um, that is chakra cleansing massages. That's the Reiki spiritual healer. I do chakra cleansing massages, and I help people fix their crowns and balance their chakras, relieve blockages that they didn't know they had, and SGF Graham, Jewsby, and Henry are going to finish the intro and exit. They're going to make this thing become a whole song. So stay tuned for that. Um, I already have a couple songs that I co-own that we're going to be dropping and producing and let the world have a go at. And I appreciate everybody being a part of my family and my tribe and healing together and loving one another and realize that we need each other for unity and watering. And thank you for allowing me to utilize you and giving me your time because time is not promised to no man. So I appreciate every single one of you, and you all have a place in my heart, and I value each and every one of you. That's it. That's what I got going on.
All right.
All right, so
Okay.
we're about to wrap this up, but Jewsby's not a just nothing, and I don't let Henry do that neither. Um, that's a very, very talented artist who has a unique style and very, very gifted. That's a goat. Like there ain't no just in it at all. So, but anyways, may everybody's night be full of positive energy and high vibrations. Please heal. Don't deny it. Don't. It's not good for you. That's my opinion. So, I'll show you everyone. Peace and love.
Peace, peace.
Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is, where the heart's uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. Where them tries could have killed you, but with faith you recovered. Yup. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down mean we owe. So down mean we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable.